The Night Witches, the all-female Soviet pilots of World War II. The Night Witches were an extraordinary group of female military aviators in the Soviet Union during World War II. Officially known as the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, these women became legendary for their daring nighttime bombing missions against Nazi German forces on the Eastern Front. Flying outdated, fragile biplanes, they earned the nickname Night Witches from the Germans, who feared their near-silent attacks. Their bravery, skill, and resilience made them some of the most iconic women in military history. The formation of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. The Soviet Union was one of the few countries to deploy women in combat roles during World War II. In 1941, as Nazi forces invaded the Soviet Union, Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin approved the creation of 3 all-female Air Force units, including the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. This decision was largely due to the efforts of Marina Raskova, a famous Soviet aviator known as the Soviet Amelia Earhart, who petitioned for women to serve in combat roles. The 588th Night Bomber Regiment was made up entirely of women, pilots, navigators, mechanics, and ground support. These women were mostly in their late teens and early 20s, and they were volunteers motivated by a deep sense of patriotism, and a desire to defend their country from Nazi invaders. The regiment was commanded by Major Yevdokia Bashanskaya, and many of its members came from various aviation clubs and had been trained as pilots before the war. The aircraft, Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes. The women of the 588th flew the Polikarpov Po-2, a lightweight biplane made of plywood and canvas. Originally designed as a crop dusting and training aircraft in the 1920s, the Po-2 was slow, outdated, and highly vulnerable to enemy fire. It had a top speed of only about 90 miles per hour, 150 kilometers per hour, and lacked modern instrumentation or radios. However, its simplicity and lightness also made it extremely maneuverable and difficult to detect, particularly during nighttime operations. Due to their small size and slow speed, the Po-2s were easy targets for German aircraft, but they had some advantages. The planes flew so low and slow that German fighter planes often struggled to keep up with them. Additionally, the Po-2's ability to fly at low altitudes made them ideal for night bombing missions, as they could evade both radar and searchlights. Tactics: silent, deadly attacks. The Night Witches specialized in nighttime harassment bombing, targeting German troops, supply depots, and front-line positions. Their strategy involved flying in groups of 3. 2 planes would serve as decoys, drawing the attention of enemy searchlights and anti-aircraft guns, while the third would cut its engine and silently glide over the target, releasing bombs before the enemy had a chance to react. The eerie sound of the gliding biplane, described as a whooshing noise, earned them the nickname Night Witches from the German soldiers, who likened the sound to that of a witch's broomstick. The Night Witches flew in darkness, without radar, parachutes, or advanced technology. They often flew multiple sorties each night, braving enemy fire, freezing temperatures, and the inherent dangers of flying flimsy aircraft. Each plane could only carry 2 bombs at a time, so the pilots would return to base, rearm, and fly again, sometimes making up to 8 or more sorties in a single night. Despite the challenges, the Night Witches were incredibly effective. By the end of the war, they had dropped over 23,000 tons of bombs on Nazi forces. Heroism and recognition: the Night Witches were highly successful in their missions, and their bravery did not go unnoticed. Over the course of the war, the 588th Regiment flew more than 30,000 sorties and inflicted serious damage on German military operations. The unit became so feared by the Germans that any pilot who managed to shoot down one of their planes was awarded the Iron Cross, a prestigious military honor. Although they operated in outdated planes, the women of the 588th earned a reputation as some of the most courageous and skilled pilots of the war. A total of 23 members of the regiment were awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union, the country's highest military honor. Notable members of the Night Witches included Nadezhda Popova, one of the most famous Night Witches, who flew over 850 combat missions during the war. She became a symbol of the regiment's tenacity and skill. Yevdokia Bashanskaya, the commander of the regiment, who led the women through some of the most intense fighting of the war. Irina Sabrova, another prominent pilot, who flew more than 1,000 sorties and was also awarded the Hero of the Soviet Union. Challenges and gender discrimination. Despite their remarkable success, the Night Witches faced significant challenges, not only from the enemy but also from within their own ranks. As women in combat, they had to overcome stereotypes and discrimination from male colleagues who doubted their abilities. Initially, they were given substandard equipment and often faced skepticism from higher-ranking officers. However, their determination and outstanding performance on the battlefield quickly earned them the respect of their male counterparts. By the end of the war, the Night Witches had proven themselves as elite pilots, and their regiment became one of the most highly decorated units in the Soviet Air Force. The legacy of the Night Witches. The Night Witches disbanded in 1945, after the end of World War II. Despite their extraordinary contributions to the war effort, their story remained relatively unknown outside of the Soviet Union for many years. However, in recent decades, their bravery and achievements have been increasingly recognized around the world. The Night Witches' legacy continues to inspire people, especially women in aviation and the military. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the courage and sacrifice of women in wartime, as well as their ability to overcome adversity and challenge societal norms. In popular culture, the Night Witches have been featured in books, documentaries and films, ensuring that their story will continue to be remembered for generations to come.